Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I have a donation deck list and it is modern. The person who sent me this list asked to remain anonymous and that's cool with me. They just want to see me try out their deck and I'm happy to do that. So what they sent me here is a modern blue-white control deck, and if you're familiar with my content at all, you know that I am all about blue-white control. I love basic lands. I love countering spells and removing permanents and winning with planeswalkers. That is absolutely my shit. So I'm looking at this list basically for the first time right now, and the things that jump out right away are that there's only one Celestial Colonnade, which is interesting because that used to be the primary win condition of blue-white control, but the modern metagame has shifted quite a bit. And now we have Shark Typhoon, there's two Big Teferis and two Jaces in this deck. Like, it all kind of blurs together. I've been playing Modern since its inception, so I don't really remember if Celestial Colonnade was still the win con when Jace the Mind Sculptor was legal, because Jace was banned for a long time and only got unbanned like a year or two ago. So I might be remembering the pre-Jace times, and we just don't need Colonnade to win the game anymore, which I'm totally willing to believe. It sounds reasonable. Another really cool thing I see about this deck is for delay. I think this is the thing that this particular build is doing that I haven't really seen around before. And delay is counter target spell. If it's countered this way, exile it with 3 time counters on it, and it gets suspend. So basically, you counter the spell for now, and it'll be back 3 turns from now. So in a pinch, this gives you like 3 turns of time. A lot of the time, like that's all you need. Like 3 more draw steps, 3 more turns of cantripping, 3 more planeswalker activations, etc. And then you'll be ready to deal with that thing by the time this comes back around. And if you combine it with Teferi Time Raveler, each opponent can only cast spells when they could cast a sorcery. Suspend triggers in your upkeep, and you can't cast sorceries in your upkeep. So suspend cards just can't be cast when Teferi is in play. So delay is a hard counter for 1 in a blue if you can combo it with Teferi Time Raveler, and that's really good. This seems like an upgrade. Like normally the blue-white control decks, they used to play like 1 mana leak, 2 logic knots, 1 Dovin's veto. Like it was just sort of a mess. Like what do you actually want to counter and when? You had to sort of balance what this slot was capable of. And delay is a much more generic answer. It's a soft counter in a different way. Like mana leak is a soft counter in the sense that it's bad in the late game. Delay is a soft counter in the sense that it doesn't actually remove the threat permanently. So very interesting technology there, and I'm excited to try it. Skyclave Apparition is also a new card, a new printing since the last time I tried a control deck in Modern. And it is nice that you just have this basically Oblivion Ring with stats that can remove whatever ails you. Uh, it just beefs up the Path to Exile Supreme Verdict removal suite. Like a lot of the times, one path isn't enough to get you to Supreme Verdict against the hyper-aggressive decks, or it's not enough to control the combo decks, and just having a more generic answer here, even in Control Mirrors, Apparition can eat an enemy Jace. So this is very good. I'm excited to try that. The sideboard, pretty standard stuff. You have your Graveyard Hate in Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace, Aether Gust for the Primeval Titan decks, Timely Reinforcements and Celestial Purge for the Prowess decks that are just trying to kill you quick, Dispel and Veto for combo and Control Mirrors. This looks like a really well constructed deck. In 4 Field of Ruin in the main for Tron and Cavern of Souls and Field of the Dead. Like, like I don't know what I would change right away. So I'm not going to make any updates before I try it. And obviously, Monastery Mentor in the sideboard. Is this just for me? Thank you so much, deck donator, for giving me a Monastery Mentor deck to play. But yeah, there's no obvious like flaws or anything that I would want to improve from this list before I even try it. So I'm not going to do any changes. I'm just going to go play and see how this goes. Uh, delay is the wild card. This is what we're going to be looking at for this whole league. Is this the secret control tech we've been waiting for, or is it actually just a stinker? Let's find out. Remember, if you want me to play your deck in a video, contact me. My contact information, my email, and my Twitter and everything, they're in the description under the video. Reach out. In exchange for a donation to support the channel, I will play basically any deck for a league, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. So thank you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's go play some games. All right, so I'm on the draw here in round one. I have a one-lander with no opt. Let's see. There are 25 lands in this deck, so there's 24 left. That's a little less than 50-50. There's 53 cards in my deck, 24 of them are lands. Yeah, so that's slightly less than 50-50, but hitting your land drops is basically all that matters with a control deck. So I'm going to mulligan this. All right, yeah, I'm a lot happier with this. I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm going to ship the Jace. Like, I want to make sure I'm alive, and then I'll figure out how to win later. Well, there's that. So Jace was the right card to bottom. Alright, I love drawing both Mystic Sanctuaries in the opening hand against Prowess. No big deal there. So this looks like a light up the stage turn. The fact that they didn't do anything pre-combat, didn't even play a land. Yeah, here's the stage. And it found exactly land drop, one drop. So that was a perfect light up the stage. Okay, so now I can start setting up. Like, finding the third island means that this Mystic Sanctuary can come into play untapped someday in the future. My primary goal at this point is to still be alive when Supreme Verdict comes around. Ooh, I could have Force of Negation that light up the stage. I didn't even think of that. Maybe I should have done it. Do I Force of Negation Manamorphose right now? Try to take some of the sting out of this? I'm actually going to do this. Like, they are basically just having their way with this game right now. I have no interaction. I'm gonna fetch for a flooded or a hallowed fountain in the end step. I really wish I forced a negation that light up the stage. It didn't even occur to me. I guess I should actually get Prairie Stream. It's just like Hallowed Fountain, but always comes into play tapped. And this sucks. Missing on the second white source here, being able to eat one of these Monastery Swift Spears would be a huge deal. Oh no, they're doing the same thing again. Yeah, I would be surprised if I survive this turn. Oh, you got 3 of them. So like lightning bolt is 6 plus 10, 16. They don't even need double lightning bolt. They might only need the one. No, they need lightning bolt plus any spell. Burst lightning. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm at 3. Yeah, I just got absolutely stomped here. I think that missing the they must have Bedlam Reveler in their hand. Why didn't they do that before combat? Alright, so I can go to 2 here. I wish this happened last turn to save me 1,000 damage. I'm dead to basically everything in their deck. Any burn spell, any removal spell. There's the Bedlam Reveler. They can just cast Lightning Bolt right now, or Burst Lightning, or anything at all. Yep, that'll do. Alright, yeah, I think I messed that game up. I just wasn't even thinking about that when it happened. Alright, so Timely Reinforcements, easy choice. Celestial Purge. Aether Gust, probably. I don't know if I have to go as deep as Dispel. So, cards that are not as good. Spell Snare has very few targets in this matchup. Alright, so I'm going to try to get 7 cards for sure, and then there's 4 more that are optional. So I think Delay is actually pretty good. Force of Negation, I don't think I need all of those. Because a lot of the things that I really care about that they do are creatures. And I'm boarding in a lot of ways to answer those. Plus I'm bringing in Aether Gust and Celestial Purge, which are just probably upgrades on Force of Negation, because they're not card negative. Teferi is not great. All of their stuff has haste, and they don't really need to interact at instant speed basis. Jace is also kind of a clunker, but he does cost 4 compared to Teferi's 5. So actually I think Delay is a lot worse because I'm cutting it to Teferi for 1, and then I'm bringing in these Aether Gust and Celestial Purges, which are just better answers. And now the question is, do I want Monastery Mentor? You don't really beat aggro decks with spot removal, you beat it with having a better board presence than them. But the deck isn't exactly full of 1-drops. It's not like a legacy deck where you cast Mentor and then you just like ponder into Brainstorm and then you're all set up and you pass holding up Force of Will. Like Monastery Mentor, it's a lot harder to get triggers out of in a deck like this. Yeah, I think that's more for like mid-range matchups than it is for these balls to the wall aggro. Uh, I think I want to keep the delays over the dispels. Okay, this is what I'm doing. The Jaces and Teferis are kind of clunky, but they're just... I have to win the game somehow, and I can't go too thin on win conditions because then I'll do all this work to stabilize and then just lose because they draw out of it and I don't. Like this curve of like remove your creature, timely reinforcements for protection, turn 4 Jace. That's how you win a game against prowess. I'll need a 4th land drop, but I play a lot of them. I hope it shows up. Alright, so I can get the Prairie Stream here. Unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Actually, I guess I'll get Hallowed Fountain. Because I have 2 basic lands in my hand, I'll be there by the time I draw Prairie Stream if I draw it. Alright, I'm gonna hold on to this Path to Exile. No reason to cast it now. Ideally, I'll path 1 creature this turn, Lava Spike. Alright, so I guess I'm just gonna path this thing. Saving 3 damage is worth it. Like, that turns off the creature half of Timely reinforcements. So I might just not cast Timely this turn. Yeah, I'll just hold on to that. I'll have a better shot for it. I think if they had another 1-drop, they wouldn't have cast Lava Spike. They would have got their 1-drop into play. And look at that, they're passing the turn without a play. So I'm going to cast Jace and plus immediately. If I brainstorm, Jace just dies to a lightning bolt. If I plus, they at least need to put 2 spells on him. And I know that they need a threat, so I'm okay plussing on them. If I didn't know anything about their hand, like if they just curved out normally, I would have plussed myself. But they can have another mountain. So that's 5, 6, 7. Alright, yeah, so if they throw a bunch of burn at Jace and then cast Bedlam Reveler, that is a thing they can do. Bedlam Reveler is the most likely card that's still in their hand right now. Yeah, and the fact that they're just spewing spells out of their hand, they're definitely fueling up a Bedlam Reveler. Yep, duh. So they have 3 fresh cards over there. I'm gonna look for a Path to Exile. Found one. That was easy. So I can play Timely Reinforcements now. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I can get Celestial Colonnade into play and play Timely right now. And now I have 3 islands that can set up a Mystic Sanctuary, getting Timely Reinforcements back or Path to Exile back. They've shown me 1 Crash Through already, which is kind of scary in the face of a Reveler, but short of Crash Through, we got a lot of time here. This creature does not have Trample on its own. And they played their 6th land, which is not what they want to be doing. Alright, so I'm going to put Timely Reinforcements on top of my deck. And then I'm going to cast Teferi. And plus Teferi. I'm holding up Path to Exile and Aether Gust right now. And I'll be able to cast them both once the Teferi untaps happen. Yeah, I even get to attack right now. They should be terrified of this attack. Like, this can only mean that my hand is full of answers. Land number 7. Not what any prowess deck wants. Lava Dart, targeting Teferi. Let's get you out of here. Land number 8. They're just gonna hardcast the next Bedlam Reveler. Doesn't even matter. What is this? Oh, Burst Lightning. Aether Gust. This is worth doing. Just having Teferi chugging versus a prowess deck that has nothing going on. Absolutely worth it. Yeah, they're just dead to that. As Colonnade was going to fire up next turn. Alright, that went well. Let's do that again. I don't think my sideboard plan changes on the player draw. Like, I could bring in Rest in Peace, which blanks their Bedlam Revelers and blanks the back half of Lava Dart, but that's a like second phase of the game plan, and I need to get through the first phase of the game first. Yeah, I think everything that I want in my deck is currently in my deck. Alright, yep, just submit the same 75 again, or the same 60. There might be some argument to having Force of Negations in on the draw, even if you don't want them on the play. This hand is very blue. Like, the white cards are mostly what you want in this matchup, but having these opts, that gives me a lot of selection. Shark Typhoon's a good one. Cryptic buys a lot of time later. Alright, Purge was a good draw. Maybe I should have played Misty Rainforest to fetch for a tapped Hallowed Fountain, so I can Purge next turn, then I can set up my ops for later. You know, that might have been better. Yeah, this big pile of 1-drops. This is the start they want. Oh wow. They're willing to sack a land for 2 or 3 damage this early. Their hand must be like balls out. I am going to keep this Aether Gust, even though I'm looking for lands primarily. It's just another answer. Like, if I can mop up this board without my life total being 0, that would be pretty nice. I think I am going to have to shock this turn, though. Okay, so these prowesses trigger. I go to 9. I shock to 6. Oh wow, this is bad. I could just delay the lava spike, but I take the same amount of damage. I could fetch Basic Island and Aether Gust Soulscar Mage. And then I'm holding up delay for next turn. Or I could try to opt into a white source. I'm gonna do that. That just protects my life total the best. This one does not have haste. That's why I'm choosing this one to get rid of. Still going to 5 right now, which is not where I want to be. They sent Soulscar Mage to the bottom, which makes perfect sense. It's not very good. Come on, basic planes. Ooh. That counts. Alright, so now I have Celestial Purge or Delay plus Opt. Just have to hope they don't have Lightning Bolt, because I can't beat that. I guess I'll purge this. Just taking 1 free damage here is just not what I want to be doing, even if I do end up dying to Bolt here. I think that is what it is. Hopefully they just hardcast Light Up the Stage. Oh, Kiln Fiend, my goodness. They really are a prowess deck. This lets me cast Cryptic, so I'm going to keep it. So I can cycle Shark Typhoon for 2 and just block this Kiln Fiend. If they had a spell, they would have played it last turn. So it's the top of the deck. Maybe I just bounce Kiln Fiend and draw a card. And I'll go to blocks first. See if they have a spell. Because if I can counter a spell and bounce Kiln Fiend, that's so much better. Please just lightning bolt me. Nice. Alright, counter target spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand. Blammo. That was pretty nice. I think Path to Exile is my best draw. Though I would take a Timely Reinforcements. Opt. Is Opt a good draw? I guess I can... Mystic Sanctuary, getting back Celestial Purge and Purge Kiln Fiend, if I need to do that. Oh, this is getting tight. Swift Spear. Okay, so they didn't have a spell 2 turns ago. They cast Burst Lightning last turn, and now here's Monastery Swift Spear. I think I'm just gonna cycle Shark Typhoon. If they've been slow rolling a Lightning Bolt this long, they're gonna get me with it, and they deserve it. Oh no. Is it Lava Dart? Did I need to go for 3? Shit. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was actually dead anyway here. Yeah, Lava Dart is checkmate because if I do go for the Celestial Purge line, I'm at 4, and whichever thing I don't purge is lethal. Yeah, there was just... I guess if I just do nothing, like if I fetch for... No, that doesn't matter, because if I fetch for Mystic Sanctuary, I'm at 4. I get Celestial Purge. I put Purge in my hand. I purge Kiln Fiend. They go for the Lava Dart. I delay. I'm at 2. I guess, yeah, okay, so there was a line that would have survived that turn. Though the way they played, it was clear that they didn't have a Lightning Bolt or Burst Lightning, but Lava Dart was something that they could have had there. Okay. Dead to Prowess. We lost the die roll and had a rough game 1, but that's alright. I suspect that matchup is like on the tougher side, but we do have the tools. On to the next one. Okay, I'm on the play here, and this hand, I mean, it needs some work, but I have Opt. I'm gonna hit my land drops. Obviously, this hand is mostly land drops. So I think I'm gonna lead on a fetch land, and I'm gonna fetch tapped Hallowed Fountain in their end step, and then I'll have more mana and more information when I cast my Opt. Oh dear. This is some sort of aggressive artifact pile. Is this a real deck? Ooh, I bet that... Oh wait, no. I was about to say I bet that new Kobold Legend from Commander Legends is in this deck, but that's not true because those cards are not modern legal. That's a good reason not to put a card in your deck. I could... No, I'm gonna save the Flooded Strand in case for a Mystic Sanctuary in the future, if there is a future. I wonder if this is some sort of like Ensoul artifact fling deck. I'm extremely interested in what's going on here. I feel like if I find a path to exile anytime soon, I can never lose. Oh, devastating summons. If I find Force of Negation with Opt right now, I'm just... Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll keep that one. Never mind. Forget about Force of Negation. Yeah, I just need to survive one attack for 9. Oh no, can you give them all haste? Wowie. Alright. So I take 12 here, 13 here. I'm at 6, my god. Oh wait, no, this can attack too. It has haste. Alright. Well, fuck me then. Okay, we've lost 2. This deck's not draw. Force of Negation looks like a good card to have. Aether Gust, good card. And it looks like anything that counters Devastating Summons is going to be good. Timely Reinforcement is going to be good. Force of Negation seems like it's going to be very strong here. Delay. Delay is funny because Devastating Summons, if you suspend it and it comes back, X is 0, just automatically. It's very Time Raveler, less good. Yeah, I guess I don't really need the all the Force of Negations with all these Aether Gusts. Delay. I want to answer the board more than the stack wherever possible, but I do want to respect their stack interaction. Alright, Archmage Charm might be a little clunky here. Alright, let's do this. That was awesome. They certainly got their sick Moto photo last round. Nope. Come on, deck. This is a snap keep all day with a second land. I guess I'm keeping this one. This is not pretty. Those are a number of unfortunate hands. I feel like our deck is well set up to defeat theirs. I'm impressed that there are more than one land that when they die, you get a creature. Alright, can I survive this turn? This is the exact same sequence they had last game. Alright, they didn't turn to me this game. Called Oath of Rebirth. Okay, that makes sense to be a card in your deck. Oh, timely reinforcements. That is in fact timely. That cleanly answers the Cold Oath of Rebirth. I was about to start talking about how Teferi bouncing Signal Pest is better than bouncing a token because that represents way more damage. I guess let's see if they can Devastating Summons plus kick another Bushwhacker this turn. Yep, certainly looks like that's what the plan is. Okay, so they attack with all of these things. Timely reinforcements doing the Lord's work here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I go to 12. I can bounce. Oh, there's 2 4/2s here. All right, I go to 8. Then, so 4, 8, 4, 8, 11, 12, 15. So I go to 8 if I block like this. I can save 1 damage by blocking another way. All right, gonna have to rip a white source here. Basic planes for the win. Damn it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I'm at 1. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can bounce Signal Pest to save even more damage. Yeah, Signal Pest attacks for 3 effectively, and the Elemental attacks for 2. So yeah, I'm actually going to bounce Signal Pest. Oh my god. Why did they pitch Simian Spirit Guide? What's happening? I have Teferi in play. What do they think they're doing? Was that a misclick? What just happened? Teferi. Alright, so I go to 2, which that 1 extra life point that I protected gives me the out to draw fetch land for basic planes and Supreme Verdict this board. Okay, they dedicated one of their points towards Teferi, so that gives me a little bit of breathing room. Come on deck, basic planes. Crawling in my skin. Yep, we lost again because we couldn't get to double white. Like, Field of Ruin fixes your mana when you actually have lands to destroy, but I don't. Like, Skyclave Apparition wins this game. Supreme Verdict definitely wins this game, but there is no path to victory here because I don't have double white. Ugh. Frustrating. Ran over twice by crazy aggro decks and lost 2 games now because I couldn't get to double white. Okay, I'm on the play here. I'm going to keep this hand. It needs a 3rd land drop, but I do have Force of Negation and Spell Snare, so I have some points of interaction here. If I find the 3rd land and I just get to Teferi or Archmage's Charm, then I'm going to feel really good. Darkslick Shores. Are you Ad Nauseam? Or are you... I mean, Ad Nauseam doesn't usually play Inquisition of Kozilek. I'm not sure what they're up to. But my hand is full of good 3 mana cards to get rid of. Alright, they chose Teferi. Alright, got there. I have to give them perfect information by playing this, but if I want my 3 mana on turn 3, I have to just give them the information. It's a freebie. Sunken Hollow and Darkslick Shores. These are a lot of weird blue-black lands. Is blue-black control a modern archetype these days? Blue-black Field of Ruin? Like, why are they playing these weirdo lands? There's got to be a reason. I'm gonna just, since I have my land drop to hit, I'm gonna save my Archmage Charm. Okay, they were pretty worried about Teferi on turn 1. I'm gonna pass the turn. I'm gonna try to Archmage Charm and draw cards in their end step and try to pressure some action, and then I can untap and jam Teferi. So let's see what they've got. Now they're holding up Cryptic Command. I think I'm way off. Maybe this is some sort of combo deck. Oh, they're just milling me? Luckily for me, that card gets spell snared. Unluckily for me, Archive Trap is a hell of a magic card. So I'm gonna go for Teferi here. Alright, and now I'm gonna fetch while the coast is clear. I'm gonna draw a card off Teferi, try to hit my land drop. Okay, I hit my land drop. Do I actually want Spell Snare back? Yeah, sure. Glimpse the Unthinkable, Maddening Cacophony, both cost 2. Uh-oh, ruined. Alright, that's fine. Uh-oh, that's less fine. That card's not particularly beatable in your control deck. Oh god, they had another one. Alright. Shit. Alright, so I can plus Teferi. I'm pretty sure I just want to put the other Teferi into play. It's funny, because when I plus this Teferi, I have to mill 2. I think powering through this orb, at least this turn, is a better plan than trying to remove it. Like, I can tuck it with big Teferi next turn and then pass the turn with defense up. If I tucked it this turn, I'm just at the whimsy of whatever they want to do to me. My opponent just complimented the delay that they milled. That is the tech for this league. All right, so that is very good. So I want to cast Jace. And I want to brainstorm. I would really like to hit another land so I can cast this Archmage Charm if I need to. I'm going to get rid of Mesmeric Orb. And I'm going to fetch now to avoid Archive Trap on their turn. I can gain control of their crab. That's pretty nice. Delay is pretty cool here too. Like, it is just the hard counter. I have the Do I care about being milled for 8? I don't think so. Can I win before then? I think I have to respect like Archive Trap. Miko Koro. Oh my god. I am not going to use this ability. Like, I want to maximize cards in my deck, and also don't want to turn on Archive Trap. At this point, I'm fairly confident that Archive Trap is the card in their hand. Alright, so they can fetch in response and get me for 3 more cards. Oh, they didn't. Cool. So now I have to deck them with Jace. Before I deck myself. I think plussing to Fairy is still worth doing. Having double delay is really nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can fire up Colonnade. Alright, I'm going to pressure their life and also their with the Jace. So they can activate Miko Koro. And that lets them draw the Mesmeric Orb. Like, they have a Swamp on top that I know they're drawing. And then Mesmeric Orb is the next card down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Did they shuffle since then? Why didn't they jam the orb? Okay, I'll take it. I'm confused, but I'll take it. You can keep that also. That's not particularly helpful. I'll play this out, and then I can untap most of those lands anyway. And still leave up double delay. I think Jace can raise triple delay. Yeah, I have to watch out for Ruin Crab. Like, that's something I'm pretty worried about in this spot. Alright, Snapcaster is really good. That adds to the clock. Add instant speed. Also, it's basically Demonic Tutor at this point. So I can Snapcaster. It basically doesn't matter though, because I don't actually want to go into my graveyard. Actually, yes, I do. Fuck it. Like, I'm not going to cast any spells. I guess I could Path. Nope, I don't want to do anything. Alright, I'm going to target Archmage Charm. And I'm not going to cast anything. This Field of Ruin sucks for me. They get to destroy my Colonnade. I have one of my own, and I'll mill you. Plus Jace. Alright, I can't... It's hard to deck with big Teferi in play. Like, Teferi can go tuck himself, and then that is some decking protection. All right, let's see what the plan is. All right, that's dead. I actually do want to get this land. Because it's my turn. They can't get me with Archive Trap right now. I can also take out this Miko Koro. Get a little more control over the situation. I've been emboldened by the Teferi realization. Like, they could, like, quadruple spell here and maybe deck me. Right, so that mills me for 2. And that, or no, 4. Okay, that's much worse than I imagined. All right, delay that forever. I have to let that one resolve because if their last card in hand is a like glimpse the unthinkable or similar, I just lose. One, two, three, four, five, six. All right, I actually mill 6 because I cast that delay. Whoops. Okay, so Teferi's gonna have to go tuck himself this turn. Right, so I draw. Archmage Charm was a pretty nice one to find. All right, mill you. Plus you. Nope, you can keep that. Put target permanent into its owner's deck. Teferi targets himself. This Teferi will plus because it can't minus ever again. And then Skyclave Apparition can eat the Mesmeric Orb. And I can attack for 4. I have 2 counter spells up. They have 2 cards in hand, and I know they're drawing a fetch land. So I'm feeling pretty good about this game. It's a close call with that Mesmeric Orb. I totally forgot that casting delay. Exile all creature cards in target. Oh, that will make this game take fucking forever. I'll just delay it. I have enough counters. Like, I just want to get the game over. Top card is Shelldock Isle. Nope, you can have that. Tuck yourself. All right, so they have functionally 1 card in hand. I guess if they fetch, okay, they did not fetch yet. All right, I think they needed to fetch because I left that card on top with Jace. All right, did it. Teferi beating Mill, like you read about or something. Dispel's probably good. Most of these cards are bad. All right, Supreme Verdict is not something I want. Path to Exile, they do have crabs. Heh. So I have to respect their crabs. I want the first veto before I want the first dispel because Mesmeric Orb is probably their stickiest threat. I guess, well, they have the 8 crabs and then the Mesmeric Orbs. I'd 8 of so many crabs. But I have 4 Path, 2 Skyclave Apparition, plus Snapcaster Mage to fight the crabs. Maybe Smell. Oh no, Spell Snare hits Mesmeric Orb, so that's a very good card here. How important was Teferi Time Raveler? I guess it let me fetch and avoid Archive Trap. It also turns Delay into a good card. I could get rid of Shark Typhoon for another Dispel, but winning the game is exciting. Like, you have to win the game somehow. Alright, I'll leave this last Dispel in the sideboard. Alright, I'm gonna keep this. It has Path for the first crab. It is wide open to... Oh, I'm getting Inquisitioned. So now I don't have Path for the first crab. They might take Teferi again. Nope, definitely crabs. Hand, like I said, wide open to Archive Trap. I could try to play around it a little bit. I'm just gonna fetch now, lean straight into it. Like, you have a 4-card hand. If you have an Archive Trap, you got it. If not, I'm fetching right now. Alright, didn't have Archive Trap. Fairly safe to say, yep. Easy crab. They wouldn't take Path if they didn't have crab. So I can deal with the crab next turn. Unless they have another discard spell. Maddening. My Cacophony is so mad. Oh no. Okay. Oh Jesus, I have 3 of that card in my hand. Or 2 in my hand. That's so fucked up. Did they see 2 of them or did they only see 1? I forget how many of those they've actually seen. I guess I can fetch. Alright, they didn't have a second surgical. Let's just clear this crab out of here. Giving them the 3rd land when they missed a land drop is not exciting. But I didn't want to play into like Spell Pierce or some Garbo. Extirpate Field of Ruin, my god. They're on the him to Turok me into the dust plan. So I'm gonna make my land drop. I can put Opt or Veto on top of my deck, or I can just not do that. I guess I'll put the Veto on top. If they want to make me shuffle my deck, I don't even care. Extirpate target getting Dovinsudo. Yeah, that's actually perfect. I just turned this Mystic Sanctuary that I wasn't even sure if I wanted to put something on top. I turned it straight into Raven's Crime. So now I draw a land, slam Teferi, and GG easy. Alright, Hedron Crab is less scary when they don't have any cards in their hand. Delay is actually delay now because all of my Teferis are gone. All my little Teferis. Alright, what card do you draw but not play in this situation? Archive Trap? Alright, I'm just gonna... It's gotta be Archive Trap or a counter spell. Like maybe Drown in the Lock. 20 or more, right? No card graveyards have 20 or more. Even if they ghost quarter themselves, they can't get there. No, you can keep that. In keeping it is the same as bottoming it. Okay, so they are going for the self ghost quarter plan. All right, yeah, just to get a shuffle. That's fair. Oh dear, Snapcaster targeting. They're gonna extirpate another thing. What's next? Jace is already in play. There's no Teferi. There's no delay in my graveyard. Yeah, I mostly don't care about anything else in my graveyard at this point. They could go after Colonnade, but I only play one. They've seen my deck list at this point. They probably have a screenshot of my deck list from the first 3 extirpates. Alright, targeting Path to Exile. You got it. I primarily just want to draw land. Uh-oh, they milled a Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. So the next extirpate can actually get rid of an important card. Unless I slam it right now. Alright, now we're cooking. Plus to draw a card, plus Jace target you. You can keep your lands. That's not what I'm worried about anymore. Now that I've resolved a Teferi, now it can do the tucking thing. I have Skyclave Apparition to get rid of this crab. If they attack, I will trade off so fast. Not sure. They're doing the dance. Yep. Easy block, and then this Apparition should end the game. I'm looking for a harder counter than that. That's about as hard as it gets. Ooh, yes. Let's bottom that. Actually, I guess I don't have to. But yes, I am gonna bottom that. Alright, so I can play Hallowed Fountain, shock it in. The Teferi untap gives me Cryptic. And now they should be dead to my Planeswalkers. I have 2 counter spells, and I have a damage clock and a Planeswalker clock. I don't really care about that. I will bottom it though. I guess it's more effective than like a land or something. Or I guess I had the spell snare. I should have just let them have that. But barely anything matters at this point, unless they have some sort of uncounterable spell that I don't know exists. Oh, I didn't mean to put that on the bottom. I meant to put it on top, and because when you have Jace and they have a fetch land, if you leave the card on top, they can fetch and shuffle away. So I basically always just leave the card on top when they have a fetch land. But I misclicked. I misunderstood the prompt. Duress. I'm gonna delay this because I think it's really funny that 3 turns from now they'll be dead. They're on a 3-turn clock. Alright. We did it! On the board against Mill. Mill is usually a tough deck for control strategies, but Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, too good. Alright, so my opponent is on the play, and they're a Lurrus of the Dream Den deck. Lurrus is like Death Shadow or Burn are the likely Lurrus decks. This hand, like Force of Negation and Delay aren't great against them, but I like having double opt and 3 land drops that make double white. So I'm gonna try this, and I don't like mulliganing against hand decks with discard in them, because like you mulligan down to like the perfect 4-card hand or whatever, and then you just lose to a discard spell. All right, it appears they are Lurrus Mill, so are we playing against Mill twice in a row? I can't even wait. I'm so excited. Alright, so I need a path to exile. I'm gonna try to opt and find one. Archmage Charm milled. I won't miss that. Alright, I don't care about the pile of lands either. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. Another opponent with the sick combo of mill you and then exile cards from your graveyard. Basic plains. I don't really need that. I have 4 lands. And I can play for a long time here without needing to fetch, which is pretty exciting. I guess I can play this. There's no rush. Or no worry about my life total. Alright, just drawing cards. I'm gonna hold up delay rather than cast opt right away. Like if I opt right away, I have a chance to find path before they can make their land drop, but the milling 3 cards isn't super important compared to if they do something bigger. Alright, I will delay this cacophony. Another lantern. It's probably going to pick off the path. That's what I do. Oh, going after Cryptic. Also allowed. Both of my Mystic Sanctuaries have been milled, but there's no way for them to know that. Alright, found an answer to Crab. I can just steal the Crab now. So that pressure's off. Should keep track of this cacophony. It's back in 2 turns. Alright, no land drop. Then maybe I don't care about Crab. And I'll just opt instead. Finding a Teferi before this cacophony comes back off suspend would be nice. I could just Supreme Verdict the Crab. Oh, now they're missing land drops. So they didn't make a play. Yeah, so they didn't cast any cards. They didn't put Lurrus in their hand. They didn't make a land drop. So we know their hand is 3 spells. I suspect they're going to want to draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern right now. Alright, they just didn't cast a spell, didn't play a land, didn't put Lurrus in their hand, just did not use any mana for a whole turn cycle. I'm pretty cool with that. I mean, neither did I. Okay, now we're in business. I'm gonna cast Jace. Let's just slam him onto the stack. And I'm gonna draw 3, put 2 back. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, so I want to hit my land drops, but I also want to not fetch. So I'm gonna put back Flooded Strand, and Supreme Verdict is an easy pitch to force negation, so I'm gonna leave that in my hand. I guess I can tuck this delay. I have so many actual hard counters right now. That delay is whatever. So I don't care about Cacophony anymore. Cacophony mostly just clears the cards I brainstormed, which I don't really want to draw anyway, and I'm holding it to Fairy. Yeah, they can't kick it. They're 1 mana short of kicking it, which is really funny. Yeah, that's fine. I'll mill 8. Uh-oh. I did mill a Teferi, so if they have main deck Extirpate, they can get rid of my Teferi. They have 6 cards in their hand and haven't played a land. Alright, they finally found a land. Blood Chief's Thirst. Con Queso. Alright, I want my Jace in play, thank you very much. Alright, are there Path to Exile still in my deck? There's still 3, so I'm gonna brainstorm with Jace. Or I could just I'm gonna plus them with... Nope, I'm gonna cast Teferi first. Someday I'll figure this out. I'm gonna draw a card. And I'm gonna plus target them. Yeah, you can bottom that. And then I can untap with 3 mana available to cast Force of Negation or Archmage Charm as needed. Cacophony, that's what I just milled. Alright, I don't actually care about that. Another Path to Exile gone. There's still 2 in the deck. Now I'm holding up 2 counter spells. Alright, found the path too. Oh, I don't want to play Field of Ruin because that makes me search my deck. Alright, I'm gonna path them now because I want to Fate Seal them, and if I Fate Seal them, then give them a shuffle, it's like I didn't do anything. Yes, I would like to bottom that, unfortunately. I suspect I just unlocked all the archive traps in their hand that they've been sitting on for this whole game. Visions. So that is good for the full 3. I'll counter that. Bummer. So I can counter again. How worried about their hand am I? But if they... Alright, I am going to counter this. This is like the classic, do you counter a fact or fiction, or let it resolve and try to beat the cards? You basically never let it resolve. Alright, they can keep Hedron Crab. I am dead to a hard cast. Archive trap now, and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I'm just out of counter spells. They can just wait for my upkeep and hit me with the trap. Yep, and I'm just dead. Alright. Just a little too slow dealing with that crab. Alright, so this should be familiar. Dovin's Veto and at least 1 Dispel. Supreme Verdicts are out. And I think 1 of the Force of Negations is out. No, I liked Force more than I liked Dispel. I remember this now. I think Dispel is probably better than Shark Typhoon. I didn't do that last time, but I'm doing it now. I would like to play first. Yes, indeed. Alright, that's a keep. I can mess up a crab. And I have Teferi, which is one of my better cards. Alright, that doesn't cast Inquisition of Kozilek. This hand also gets set up without doing any shuffling. Crab. Trigger. I'll path in response to the fetch if they fetch. That was a pretty smart time to do this. I would rather cast a fairy than Path to Exile right now. Yeah, they played around that very well. Yeah, so Teferi can get me set up to play around Archive Trap. Let's see if they have Mystical Dispute after board. I will bounce this and make them replay it at least. Next turn I can fetch without worrying about Archive Trap and play Skyclave Apparition Eating Rune Crab, provided they don't mill all my white sources. They just hit 3 of them. Alright, a few survived so far. I really need a Teferi Hero of Dominaria before they can mill it and extract it. Like that really is the entire end game. Should get their Luris up there so I don't forget about it. Hallowed Fountain, yes please. Alright, I have a clock, and I removed their clock. Alright, if they don't do anything too fucked up right now, I get to untap into a Mountain of Permission, or Jace, depending on how things look. Oh, Teferi is so good against Archive Trap. It's really hard to trap somebody when you can't cast instants. That's kind of the whole thing about traps. Like, if you're like, excuse me, I'm in my main phase, and I would like to spring a trap upon you. That is not really how traps are supposed to work. Alright, so they just set Adrift to Fairy. And exile. Oh no! God, it's only a 2 of. Oh wait, they targeted Force Negation. Alright. I thought that was a Cryptic Command in my graveyard. My goodness. Alright, fine. You can have my Forces of Negation. And you shuffle away my Teferi, but I have another one. Alright, found the more important Teferi. Is this the right play at all? I could jam Jace. I guess I do have to jam Jace because I have to win this game somehow. No, they can keep that on top. I don't think they played a land last turn. And I have Path to Exile to answer that anyway. Mesmeric Orb. Alright, that's gonna mill me for 5. That's a good one. Alright, found the land. Oh shit, they can Archive Trap me right now, though. I would hate to do all this work just to get Archive Trapped. So I guess I should lead on to Fairy. I'm gonna end up milling some amount of cards. There's no point in doing this because they're gonna mill 3 anyway. No, I want you to keep that right on top. They didn't have a land last turn, so I actually don't even care about Hadron Crab. I'll just attack. Wait, attacking mills me? Yeah, I think Jace is a better win condition. Alright, and the whole point of casting Teferi was so I could crack my fetch land. There is still a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck. Not that that's doing anything for me right now. Alright, they found a land. Alright, that is Time Raveler. God, Visions Beyond is such a good card. Ancestral Recall. Not a fair thing to do in Modern when the rest of us are down here playing in the dirt. Oh god. 2 of them. Is this what I've been doing to people in Vintage? Alright, a second Crab. They've already played their land for the turn. Extirpate targeting Archmage Charm. Alright, that is a card in my hand, and they knew that already. I have the big Teferi though, and I have Cryptic. Like bouncing Mesmeric Orb, and then holding up Cryptic while I Jace them out could be a reasonable plan. I guess I might as well path one of these crabs too. Oh, they've just been cantripping. They were in Ancestral Recalls. They're a little short. Okay, that's why I haven't instantly lost the game. Alright, so I can path a crab, or I can save it for Luris. But I have Cryptic for Luris. Yeah, I'll just crack this off. Oh, that was bad. Pathing also counts as a land, obviously. Alright, so now what do? Plussing them, there's really not a point because they're going to mill so many cards. But if I bounce Mesmeric Orb, which I probably pretty much have to do, I'm out of 3 mana interaction almost entirely. Alright, I'll plus myself. Yes, I will bottom that. No, I will leave it on top because I don't care about it. So I could bounce Mesmeric Orb. I could also just plus to Fairy. What does that do, though? Alright, I'm going to bounce Mesmeric Orb. I should have bottomed Jace if I was going to do that. God, I'm so bad at this game. Alright, mistakes have been made. Yeah, if they have like Thoughtseize Orb here, that sucks. Oh no, they milled a... Oh no, that's still Time Raveler. God, I'm getting so scared. Cryptic. So I might as well... No, I might as well not cast this because then I get milled. Alright, you got my Cryptics. Surgical doing a nice impression of Thoughtseize. Oh, now I'm dead. I have to search for this. It's not an option. Yep, they did a good job there. Now I just get archive trapped. Alright, yep. This opponent found the lines better than my last opponent did. Teferi doesn't even matter. Like, the big difference between this round and last one was my opponent last round just fired off their surgicals on random shit. This opponent used it. They hit me. They made it functionally a discard spell a number of times. And then over this course of the game, they slowly whittled down. They got rid of my Force of Negations, they got rid of my Archmage Charms, they got rid of my Cryptic Commands. There's no counter spells left in the deck. Archive Trap You. So they played that pretty well. That match was a lot grindier than the last one that we were able to get away with. Alright, I'm on the play against another Luris deck. I'm going to keep and hope they're not the third consecutive mill deck. Like, I'm playing Misty Rainforest, just hoping that they're something normal. Okay, I don't think Mill has Bloodstained Mire in it. Alright, there's some sort of burn or zoo. Ooh, actual factual zoo. Alright, so zoo. Let's see what this deck is about. Found my second white source. So I can steal Wild Nicottle with Archmage's Charm. It'll even be a 2/2 because I have a Plains. And then I just need to like still be alive when I get up to Supreme Verdict. This is a pretty fast goldfish, though. They have the full 3/3 Nakatl. So I'm going to see what spells they're going to cast in the main phase, if any. If they go straight to combat, I'm going to steal Nakatl before they attack. Yoink. Oh no, you have some sort of... Okay, that's fine. They're helixing their own Nakatl. That's a deal. Then I get to Supreme Verdict at 10 life. I like that. They suspended Riftbolt and Lava Spiked me. Okay, so I could put Jace into play, or I could summon a 3/3. I think Jace is better. I also should have not made my land drop, though I didn't really want to fetch to 6 life because that's a multiple of 3, but it probably would have been better. Also, I'm not going to lie, I forgot that Riftbolt was suspend 1. I thought it was suspend 2. I thought I had another turn here, but I should have just left up Snapcaster Archmage Charm. Now I'm just dead to everything, like, yeah, Boros Charm. Yeah, that that was a loose one. It's been a minute since I played against a Riftbolt. Oh, alright. Run over by another aggro deck. Aether Gust, Timely Reinforcements are in. Force of Negation's out. Delay is some number coming out. Teferi's not actually that good. I had, like, turn 3 Archmage Charm to remove one of their creatures, plus turn 4 Supreme Verdict, and still just died there. These modern aggro decks, this is the third different one we've played against. We played against Prowess, some sort of devastating summons Bushwhacker deck, and now Zoo, and all of them are hitting just a little too hard for this deck to keep up with. Which, I mean, it's possible I'm sideboarding wrong. Maybe I should mulligan differently, but all of these decks are just a little too good. This has been my problem historically with decks like this in Modern. While I love them in Legacy, the Modern cantrip suite is not what the Legacy one is. Like, a lot of the time you're just like in Legacy when you have Ponder, Brainstorm, and Preordain, you can basically find what you need for various matchups and get rid of the stuff you don't need. In Modern, it's just like, here's my cards. You don't really get control over anything until like 4 and 5 mana when you have Jace. So this hand needs another land, obviously, but it has Aether Gust, Spell Snare, and Timely Reinforcements, all of which are good cards in the matchup. Give me a land, please. Guide me. Damn it. Cryptic Command, cool. So we're drawing us a redundant 4-drop that we're not even close to casting. And the Goblin Guide even gives me a little preview of if I'm gonna find a land next turn or not. I'm gonna let it attack and then figure out what I'm gonna do with it. Oh god. Alright, give me 2 lands, please. Alright, there's 1. There's 2. Alright, we found 2 lands. I'm gonna chuck one of these Goblin Guides back into the deck. Then I get to Timely Reinforcements. They bottom the Goblin Guide. They're done with that. Alright, guys, reinforce. It's time. So now how messed up this turn is will determine what I can do on my turn. Like if they can give their things trample somehow. I don't think Atarka's command gives trample. I think it gives +1/+1. It might give trample though. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played against a zoo deck. Alright, suspend Riftbolt. Alright, Skyclave Apparition on top of the deck. I'm going to double block Goblin Guide and block Swiss Spear with 1. If they play Giant Growth, I'm going to get blown out. That is what it is. Lightning Bolt, target me. Okay. That doesn't save Goblin Guide. That basically doesn't do anything. Alright, so I have to play the Prairie Stream. I can delay Rift Bolt. So I think I want to let Rift Bolt resolve. So this puts me to 6. This attack puts me to 4. Let's see what's left in the tank here. Lightning Bolt, that is lethal, so I better delay it. If the other card in their hand is Boros Charm or Lightning Bolt also, then whatever. It looks like it is. Looks like Atarka's command. Alright, yep, Atarka's command. Absolutely crushed. Again, not having double white killed me this game. And I might have died to that burn anyway. I think I started the turn at 9, and they had Lightning Bolt, Rift Bolt, and Atarka's command, so I might have just lost anyway, but again, double white, that's at least the 3rd time it's come up where not having double white when I needed it was a huge punish against aggro decks. Okay, so I won forward with this deck. What is there to say about that? So our league was pretty had a pretty slim target on it. I played against 3 like balls of the wall aggro decks and 2 mill decks. We never got into any sort of mid range or control mirror. Never played against Tron or a big mana deck. So in all 5 of the matchups we played, Field of Ruin would have been better as just basic planes for the most part. Just something that isn't this awkward. Like Field of Ruin is restrictive to double white in aggro matchups, and it's actively detrimental to you against mill when they have Archive Trap. So that was rough. I'm not sure you can blame the deck for that. Like the big mana decks, like Tron is such a bad matchup that you really do want Field of Ruin around. Like you really do want it against the Field of the Dead decks. So I don't think it's bad deck building. It just, in the specific set of matches we played, it was not a good card. Skyclave Apparition was great. Every time we drew it, it just did something totally different. Just a removal for hard removal for a resolved permanent. Then it's also a body. We won a couple games by attacking with Skyclave Apparition. The Teferi delay combo was really cool. Like the one time it mattered. Shark Typhoon never got a chance to do anything. I cycled Shark Typhoon once and died instantly for it, but that's because my opponent had a bunch of Monastery Swiftspears. Monastery Mentor, I'm not really sure what this is for. Like, unless we play against like actual factual Jund, and even actual factual Jund, like that's a deck full of discard spells that just picks you apart. So how often are you going to play Monastery Mentor and get some respectable number of triggers out of it before it's gone? And like I said a minute ago, this isn't like Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain, Predict. Like this is Opt. You get 4 Opt and that's it as your cantrip suite. So you can't really even go off with a Mentor. Uh, I I think I would change the Mentors to just 2 more Skyclave Apparitions, as this card is so good in those aggro matchups where like exiling Wild Nacatl and chumping a Swift Spear is like worth doing. That's just a very good turn 3 play. I said at the beginning of the video, and it's still true now, you don't beat those aggro decks by having spot removal. You beat them by getting on the board and challenging them on the board. They're built to beat spot removal, but you need to gum up the battlefield. 4 paths, unfortunately, is all you're allowed to play. There could be an Oust somewhere in the deck, maybe over one of these Celestial Purges, though I'm not sure if Oust is actually what we're looking for. But piling up, so 4 path, 2 Purge, 3 Aether Gust, 2 Timely Reinforcements, post board against aggro decks, and we lost to all 3 of them anyway. So that's a problem. I do want another white source in this deck somewhere. Like if Prairie Stream was Hallowed Fountain or Basic Plains, we would have had a chance in that last game. Just casting the Skyclave Apparition. Maybe you don't play Field of Ruin in the main. Like Field of Ruin, like I said in the game, like Field of Ruin is fixing, but only if you have time to activate it and you actually have a target for it, and you're not playing against Archive Trap. So you can't really count on that to be your fixing in a meaningful way against these fast decks. So that's what I would change. I would turn Mentors into Apparitions. I would find another white source somewhere, probably a Field of Ruin, just turn it into a third Hallowed Fountain. Or I don't know if you want another basic, but another Hallowed Fountain might be better. There's just a lot of enters the battlefield tapped lands and colorless lands in this deck that exists in a format where decks are really fast. So that's my suggestion. That's what I would do if I were going to play this deck again. I think these decks have historically been not quite where they need to be in the modern format. Like the context of the modern format. Like look at this deck. This deck looks great. But in the context of what modern is throwing at you, like the Field of Ruin, that's such a smart deck building intervention or innovation. It manages Tron, which is historically Control's worst matchup, but it's a huge cost against Prowess, which is everywhere in Modern right now. And I mean, we got pretty unlucky playing against 2 mill decks. I don't think that's a big enough meta player that we would see 40% of our matches. Like 40% of the field is not mill, but weird stuff happened against mill that I would have rather not had this card in my deck at all. But that's just the modern card pool showing up to challenge you to do stuff. It's not that the deck is constructed poorly. It's just that modern asks a lot of questions, and this sort of deck, you have to like tune it for your weekend. Like maybe there's a Star City Open or a Grand Prix where it's like, I don't respect Tron, no Field of Ruin, I'm not going to lose to aggro today. More untapped white sources, more early interaction, and that's my plan. Maybe other times it's like I want the 4 Field of Ruins and a Ghost Quarter. Everyone's going to be on Tron. Like it's hard to tune this style of deck, but you do have to tune it. There is not an optimal deck list that's just going to be good against Modern at large, which makes it hard to queue into leagues with a deck like this. So that was a pretty long wrap up. I feel like I said a lot about that, more than I intended to. But thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Remember, if you want me to play your deck on camera, talk to me. My contact info is in the video description, and I will see you next time.